Welcome back to Ticker News. Well, emergencies, as we know, take place every single day. We never expect them to happen, but how we respond and prepare is key. So how do modern technologies play their part in emergency response? For more, let's bring in Rashid Khan, CEO and founder of Evac Ovation. Welcome into Ticker News. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Going well. So maybe give us a bit of background into what you're doing at the moment. I mean, emergencies are crucial and technologies are playing their part in assisting, I suppose, right now.
Yep. So I've been in that space for the last 13 years.
Yep.
I've been an emergency manager for one of the top 4 banks within Australia, and I looked after 37,000 staff. So I highlighted a few gaps when I was working in that space. And the gaps were not small. The gaps were at the industry level or maybe a little bigger at a state level as well. So I highlighted them and then tried to fill that gap with technology, which is the crucial part of communication in today's day. So we came up with this beautiful solution. It's called Evac Ovation, where we have this emergency situation. In any emergency situation, we cover those gaps with technology. So provide a step-by-step guide to the people who are in that moment of emergency, because you are in that chaos situation. So taking that decision is really, really hard, because your mind can be affected by a lot of things happening around you. So we provide, with the app, we provide that solution to the people. They can follow the process easily, go through emergency, and have a safe coming back as well.
Yeah. So tell us about the gaps that you first of all highlighted and that you noticed back before you made the decision to go into this space. What were you noticing here exactly?
Especially in the building space. So we actually went into the very smaller particle of the emergency, which is a building. So from the building, you can expand up to the cities and expand up to the bigger levels too. So we have a vision of that part as well. But from the building perspective, there usually is a chief warden of the building, and there's wardens who actually do all the groundwork of taking people out safely and bringing them back in. The communication between the chief warden and the warden happens through the red phones or through other communication channels, which are kind of 100 years old. And what happens with the chief warden, because he's the decision maker at that time, he has to take a lot of notes, he has to take a lot of data in.
Sure.
And he's occupied with 100 people calling him all the time, and then he has to write down every single detail. So he kind of can lose that visibility of what is happening within the building. So what we have done, to cover that gap, we have provided an app where, with this app, the chief warden doesn't have to do too much. He only has to focus on the very important things within that emergency. And then this will create another visibility layer. So when the Melbourne Fire Brigade or the CFA or the fire services or emergency responders comes in, they have a complete visibility of the building. They'll look at the whole app and say, wow, how many people are still in the building? How many people have evacuated? How many peeps are in there, which is the people with the disabilities or the people who have the problem in evacuating the building. So they can see from that picture which is the main focus for them.
So tell us more about the app. You've touched on it there, obviously. And also, what are your goals here? Is it to make it just easier communication, faster communication, and then safer at the end of the day, I suppose?
There's few parts of that. One is making that emergency so smooth, so that people can take the decisions at the right time. So it's completely data driven. So the real-time data is actually filtering through the app, coming to you, and then you can make the right decisions. Not only the decisions for the people who are within the building, maybe there are people who are outside the building who are very much involved in that business. So let's say if there is a building for finance, for a financial institution, there will be really critical businesses within that building which can be affecting some other parts of the business. So creating that visibility to the other parts of the business as well, so they can see what is happening in that building and they can take the right decisions of which teams they need to move here and there. So kind of creating that picture around the emergency and giving that real-time data decisions powers to other people outside that emergency as well. That is one part of it. Where we really wanted to take that is because there's a lot of parts of emergency response. Australia is one of the top 5 emergency response nations in the world.
Right.
And we are taking that another level up.
Okay.
We are taking that Australian standards and automate them to a level where Australia will become #1 in emergency response. That's our main goal.
That's the goal.
Taking Australian brand to the developing nations as well, guiding them through the new processes, because Australian standard is one of the base standards in the world, and then taking it another notch of automating that process.
Well, it's a big goal, exciting goal. Keep us up to date with how it works out. How do we learn a little bit more and stay in touch with you?
Our website is there, www.evacovation.com.
Yep.
And then we have our Facebook page and LinkedIn and social medias in there as well. So we keep up to date with a lot of our clients and upcoming clients as well.
Awesome.
Within that space, because we were working in that automation, we become part of United Nations Disaster Risk Reduction Forums, where we are applying those automation tools and giving that heads up of what technology can do with artificial intelligence, with the blockchain space, and with these apps. How can we mitigate the bigger risks?
Yeah, absolutely. Exciting times ahead. Really appreciate your time today on TQ News. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.